hate following good public speakers, but it could be worse. I could be the last panelist. First of all, I'd like to thank the ISO for inviting me back out to the West Coast. I'd like to start with an overview for the benefit of those not familiar with our struggle. Our struggle is one that is not unique or unheard of in the UAW. We are union officers that were terminated almost 2 years ago for union activity, not for job performance, attendance, or any other work-related issues. We're members of the 2007 Bargaining Committee for United Auto Workers Local 3520 in Cleveland, North Carolina. On August the 2nd, or April the 2nd, 2007, our local strike committee voted to strike. We had 22 open articles and 86 open health and safety issues in our contract, and our employer wanted us to take that back to our membership for ratification. The proposed contract, if ratified by our membership, would have been the first two-tier contract negotiated between the UAW and a profitable company. Freightliner was more profitable in 2006 than they were in all their other years combined. Our local took a stand against concessions, and when the company refused to come back to the bargaining table, we took strike action. As a result of the strike, 5 of our bargaining committee members were terminated by our employer, along with 5 other officers and 1 rank-and-file member of our union. We were terminated for instigating and or supporting and or participating in an unauthorized work stoppage. But our contract had expired on March the 31st, and this strike happened on April the 2nd. Our collective bargaining agreement was expired. There was no contract. The UAW promised us help. They told us an attorney would represent us at our unemployment hearing. Luckily, we retained an attorney of our own because we showed up at the meeting, and the HR manager for Freightliner told the special hearing deputy for the Unemployment Commission that we wouldn't have anyone from the UAW there to assist us in our battle with them. From the onset of this struggle, we've not been fighting against Freightliner. We've been fighting corporate unionism and corruption. Our regional director of the UAW likened us to murderers. He said that we committed the highest crime that any union member could commit. You know what that crime is? An unauthorized work stoppage. Our labor movement and the UAW were founded on direct action against our bosses. The other 5 officers and the 1 rank-and-file member of our local that were terminated were reinstated to their jobs in May of 2007. But that didn't happen before they signed they had to sign a last chance agreement, a model employee agreement, in order to get their jobs back. Later, we learned that the agreements were drafted by our regional director's office and contained statements that said that the agreements couldn't be used by the union against the company in any future proceedings. So the last chance agreements couldn't be introduced at our arbitration hearings as evidence against our employer for disparate treatment. Our struggle has gained many supporters and some opponents as well. We're not union busters or union haters as some try to portray us. On the contrary, we are members of our local's organizing committee. We help bring the UAW to our plant, and we're proud to be union members. On October the 28th of this year, after waiting 19 months for resolution to this situation, we learned that Robert Whiteside, David Crisco, and myself lost our arbitration cases. The next day, I received a call from Darren, and he invited me to come out here and speak. The first thing I could think about, though, I was pretty down and out. Well, I was disappointed. And I thought, well, Darren and those guys are crazy. How can I go out there and say anything constructive about the labor movement and anything that would be beneficial for anyone to hear from me? Well, after considering it, I realized that I still have a lot to say. This fight isn't over. Our struggle isn't over. To coin a phrase from someone I know, I may be broke, but I'm not broken. We haven't given up the fight, and we ask that you continue to support us. Arbitration is supposed to be, or is considered, final and binding between unions and companies. But that doesn't mean that it has to be the end of our struggle. There are many avenues that we haven't even explored yet. Glenna and Franklin won their arbitration hearings. With them back at work, they can rally our supporters inside the plant, rebuild, organize, and, they can take back our local, and if all else fails in our struggle, they can negotiate our jobs back in the next contract.